Hey there, in today's practice, we'll work on some longer holds in postures close to the floor with the goal of stretching or lengthening the front side of the body from the top of the ankles to the bottom of the throat. And when we do this, we tend to go into more of a gentle back bend. If at any point you have pain in the low back, I'm going to ask that you try to lessen the amount of back bend that you might be experiencing with some different options. And so with that, today you'll need a bolster or a big pillow, maybe a blanket if you have sensitive knees, and then blocks or a way to lift the floor up. And actually, you could probably do this entire practice without the bolster or any of these props if they're not available to you. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started in a kneeling position. We are going to be here for a little bit of time. So I want you to take this time to add support if you need support. So one option is to take bolster or a big pillow and slide it between the heels and the glutes so that it lifts the knees up a little bit more. Option two could be to take a blanket, roll it up, and then place it right behind the knees, and this will also help keep everything lifted. And if you try those two things and they don't work, then just find a comfortable seat, however works best for you, in the center of your space. So whenever you're ready, you'll make your way into that comfortable seat. Rest the hands somewhere along the legs, and you might close the eyes or gently gaze down at the nose. Use a nice long inhale to sit tall. Nice long exhale to relax the shoulders down away from the ears. We'll start to turn the focus inwards. So at first you might start to notice how the legs are contacting the floor. Does it feel like you have equal pressure between the left and the right sides? Next, you'll start to notice the rate of your breath. Is it fast or slow? And are you breathing into the chest, the belly, or both? Then you'll start to check in with the body to see how everything feels in this moment. As you scan the body from the top of the head all the way down to the tips of the toes, you might notice certain areas feel a little bit more tense or uncomfortable, and others that maybe feel a little bit more relaxed or at ease. Reminder that one of these is not necessarily better than the other. It's just a reflection of how you move throughout your day. Finally, you'll bring your awareness to the mind to reflect on any thoughts that have come up so far in your practice or your day. Has the mind been racing with thoughts, or has it been a little bit more calm? Do the thoughts revolve around a certain topic, or do they like to linger? And can you easily let them go? We'll take one deep breath together where you inhale for 4. Then you'll open the mouth and let out a nice big sigh on the exhale. You can imagine yourself releasing something stressful or frustrating that you just don't want to carry into the rest of your practice. So when you're ready, you'll inhale for 4. Breathe deep for 3. Feel the ribs expand out to the side 2. Sip in the last bit of air 1. Open the mouth, exhale. You'll slowly close the lips and do your best to breathe in and out just through the nose. 4 count in, 4 count out for the rest of practice. Next, inhale, shrug the shoulders up towards the ears. Exhale to squeeze the shoulder blades together tight and then down towards the hips. One more, inhale, shrug the shoulders up. Exhale to squeeze the shoulder blades together tight and then down towards the hips. You'll slowly start to blink the eyes open if they were still closed. And you'll start to come onto the hands and knees into tabletop position, adding any support underneath the knees if you need here. And take the time to stretch the legs back one at a time, allowing the blood to rush back through the lower body as you straighten the legs. And when you're ready, you'll return back into that tabletop position to wake up the spine. So as you exhale, round the spine completely, tailbone down, chin to chest. And as you inhale, move towards looking up. Untuck the tailbone, drop the belly, pull the chest forward, and gaze up. You have 5 rounds here on your own, with your own breath in your own time. Really try to push the feet and the hands into the ground as you move back and forth through the spine, trying to push the boundary of your spine just a little bit more each time. After the next round, return back to your tabletop position to stretch the wrists. So you'll turn the fingers out to the side and then back towards the knees. You can do one at a time or both at the same time. If you need less of a stretch, you're going to stay with the hips high. If you need a little bit more, you might try to sink the hips towards the heels. If the palms come off the mat, walk the hands a little closer. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. 5 breaths here. So in today's practice, we're going to hold each pose a little bit longer with less dynamic movement between the poses. And this can sometimes be challenging for people to hold the posture and not have as much movement. And so while we go through today's practice, your goal is to just observe the activity of the mind. If thoughts tend to linger more than you want, once you acknowledge them, and then return the breath back to how the body feels. Maybe lengthen out an exhale so that you can return back to the present moment. If you want to stretch just the fingers, palms go up, thumbs out to the sides. Next, exhale, hands go down towards the mat. Maybe shake out the hands one at a time here. And then we'll start to make our way onto the stomach. So once you're on the stomach, we'll start with just a gentle stretch for the low back. So you'll slide left knee in line with the left hip with the left toes out to the side for half frog pose. Relax the chin down towards the hands. You might look in the same direction as the knees or opposite. And you have about 8 to 10 breaths here. Allowing yourself to collect any information from the thoughts that come up, but then giving yourself permission to release them so that you can return back to the present moment. Next, exhale, start to straighten the left leg next to the right. We'll do the same thing other side. So inhale, pull the right knee up in line with the right hip, with the right toes out to the side for your half frog pose, and then return the chin back down onto the hands, or maybe you turn the head towards the right or the left. Allowing yourself to take these next 8 to 10 breaths here to really sink right hip into the floor. Trying to find the rhythm of your breath. 4 count in, 4 count out. So you have something to focus the mind on while we hold the pose. Next, exhale, straighten the right leg. Next to the left. Moving towards a gentle shoulder stretch. Excuse me. Take the left elbow out to the side. 90-degree bend in the left elbow with the elbow in line with the shoulder. Look towards the right. Push on through the right hand. Spin the left hip on top of the right. Reach the right leg as far back as you'd like to gently stretch the shoulder. Relax. Left side of the face onto the floor, or you can slide a block or a blanket underneath. And you have another 8 to 10 breaths here. See how quickly you can get the focus onto the breath. Noticing if you're still at a 4 count in, 4 count out. Next, inhale, slowly roll onto the stomach. And then switch the side. So right elbow out to the side, 90-degree bend into the right elbow. Look towards the left. Place the left hand down. And then you'll start to spin the left hip on top of the right shoulder. Sink right shoulder towards the ground. And you can reach the top leg as far back as you'd like to get the stretch. Left side of the face on the floor or a block. Probably another 6 to 8 breaths here. So there is a saying that the breath and the mind are like 2 fish that swim together. When you control the breath, you can control the mind. And you might use the rest of practice today to see if that's true for you. As you always return back to the breath. Next, exhale, roll back onto the stomach for a gentle stretch for the front of the throat. So you'll place elbows onto the mat and then, or your floor, and then place the chin on top of the palms. And then walk the elbows forward so that the chest sinks back down towards the ground. And then from here, your goal is to sink the chest down towards the ground as the chin slightly goes up. With the hands, drop the shoulders away from the ears. If this is too much, you can always stack the fists and then place the chin on top. And again, try to sink the chest down towards the ground. If that's still too much, you can always lower one down. Wherever you are, you have another 6 to 8 breaths. Maybe just observing how the front of the throat feels in this position. And if your inhales and exhales feel a little different when the throat is on a stretch. Next, exhale, lower the hands back down towards the floor, and you'll bend the left knee. Reach around and see if you can grab with the right or with the left hand and pull the left heel in close. And then lower the chest down. If you need to, stop the video, go grab a strap, because I definitely forgot to tell you to get one. And then you'll just lower the chest down. Only 4 to 6 breaths here. Push the hips into the ground. Next, exhale, release the left foot. And then you'll lift the chest again, same thing, other side. So left elbow down, bend the right knee, reach around with the right hand and see if you can grab for the foot. Pull it in close. And then you can stay upright. Wrap the strap around if you need. But eventually you might lower the chest down, push the hip into the ground. Draw the right heel as close as you can towards the right glute. You have another 4 to 6 breaths here. Next, exhale, release the right foot down. Inhale, come up onto the elbows for Sphinx pose. If you have any pain in the low back, you're just going to walk the elbows forward so that the curve you get is probably a little bit higher into the thoracic spine or the middle part of your spine. If this is okay, elbows underneath the shoulder, sink the hips down, pull the chest forward, maybe look up here for your Sphinx. You have 6 breaths. You might stay here, or maybe you drop the chin towards the chest. If you want a little bit more, press the hands down to straighten the elbows, lift the chest. If you have any pain in the low back while you do that, you'll lower back down. The other option is to walk the hands a little bit closer for a supported cobra. Roll the shoulders down your back, point the elbows behind you, then push the hands down to straighten the elbows. Elbows might not go straight, and that's okay. Hips need to stay in contact with the ground. Pull the chest forward, drop the shoulders away from the ears, point the elbows back behind you. Wherever you are, you have 4 breaths. Next, exhale, you'll start to shift up and back. You're welcome to take a tabletop position here. Maybe a couple of cat-cows. Exhale, round the spine, chin to chest, tailbone down. Inhale, look up. We'll start to move towards a low lunge and then a lizard pose. So if you have sensitive knees or you're working on a hard ground, this might be a great time to add the support underneath the knees. And maybe you have blocks nearby if you want to lift the chest a little bit more. Start with the right knee down. Step your left foot forward. Sink the hips down and forward. And if you need to, you can always place your hands on blocks here to lift the chest, if that's what you'd like. Otherwise, you might try and keep fingertips in line with the toes. Still pull the chest up away from the hips and then maybe gaze at the spot between the eyebrows. 3 more breaths here. Option to stay here in your lunge, or you'll walk the hands to the inside of the left foot. For your lizard pose, arms can stay straight on the floor with the hands in contact with the floor or a block or a bolster. Or you can start to lower the right elbow down and then maybe the left elbow down. If they don't quite meet the ground, you can always put a pillow or something underneath. You have another 6 breaths here. Noticing if the mind has become more active, if you're holding tension somewhere else in the body. If so, are you too deep in the pose and do you need to back out? Or do you just need to refocus onto the breath? Next, inhale, plant the hands down to lift the chest up. Step left knee next to the right, same thing other side. So step the right foot forward for your low lunge. Sink the hips down and forward. Hands can go to blocks here if you need. Or fingertips can be in line with the toes, with the hands on the ground. Inhale, lift the chest away from the hips as you sink the hips down. Maybe you look up to the spot between the eyebrows. 4 to 6 breaths here. Next, exhale, lower the hands down on the inside of the right foot for your lizard pose. Elbows can stay straight, or you might lower the left elbow to the floor or a prop, and then the right. If you need, you can always place a prop underneath. And you have another 4 to 6 breaths here. Sometimes in these longer holds, not having any cues mentioned or music can be really uncomfortable, and I encourage you to keep just observing throughout your practice today and the rest of your practice in general to see if that uncomfortableness shows up in the body. What signals does the body give you? And then what do you want to do to make it comfortable? And can you just breathe through being uncomfortable for a little bit, and does it go away? Next, exhale, hands go down towards the mat. Step the right knee next to the left. Find a child's pose. Bring the big toes to touch. Knees can stay together or knees a little bit wider than the hips. Your choice. Walk the hands down and forward to relax the forehead to the floor. Maybe you place the forehead on a block or a blanket to lift it up. Breathe into the low back. Next, inhale, walk the hands in towards the knees to lift the chest. We'll start to make our way into a seated position because today we're going to work on what's called alternate nostril breathing, or your Nadi Shodhana. And this is a breathing practice that's meant to balance the left and the right sides of the brain and body. And so find whatever seat feels best for you. Add any props that you might need. And today's the one day where I'm actually not going to mirror you, and so you want to listen to what I say instead of mimicking, but you'll use the right hand. And so you want to fold in the second and the third fingers. And you're going to use the ring finger of the right hand to plug the left nostril and the right thumb to plug the right nostril. You want to make sure that you're applying the pressure right where you have the crease in the nose so that you get a really good seal. If you have some sinus stuff going on or you have a runny nose, you might want to have tissues nearby, but this is also a great way to clear blockages. But if it becomes too restrictive and you get anxious with the breathing, then you'll just want to return the hands back down towards the knees and go to equal length inhales and exhales. So the left hand can rest palm down on the left knee or face up, your choice. And then we'll start with a normal inhale and exhale. And then you'll inhale through both nostrils, and then we'll plug the right and exhale through the left. And I'll cue you the entire time so you can just follow along. So when you're ready, inhale through both nostrils, exhale out through both. Inhale through both. Plug the right, exhale left. Inhale left. Plug the left, exhale right. Inhale right. Plug the right, exhale left. Inhale left. Plug the left, exhale right. Inhale right. Plug the right, exhale left. Inhale left. Plug the left, exhale right. Inhale right. Plug the right, exhale left. Inhale left. Plug the left, exhale right. Inhale right. Plug the right, exhale left. Inhale left. Plug the left, exhale right. Inhale right. Plug the right, exhale left. Inhale left. Plug the left, exhale right. Inhale right. Plug the right, exhale left. Inhale left. Plug the left, exhale right. Inhale right. Plug the right, exhale left. Inhale left. Plug the left, exhale right. Inhale right. Plug the right, exhale left. Inhale left. Plug the left, exhale right. Inhale right. Plug the right, exhale left. Inhale left. Plug the left, exhale right. Inhale right. Plug the right. Exhale left. Lower right hand down toward the legs. Close the eyes if they're already, or if they're not already, or gaze down at the nose. Just take a few moments here to observe how the body and the mind feel after your breathing practice. Today you might choose to end your practice by staying in this comfortable seat and just observing the thoughts. If you'd rather start to make your way into Shavasana, your final resting pose, you're welcome to take any variation that feels best for you for the last 2 minutes. Allowing yourself this time to add whatever support you might need so that you can be comfortable for these last 2 minutes. So that with each next exhale, you might allow yourself to sink into the support or props you have beneath you. So that as you continue to exhale, you might sink into the support. So that as the body starts to feel more comfortable, it might release any remaining tension that it's holding on to. And in time, you might find a state of being that's right before you fall asleep, where the body is heavy, fully relaxed, resting, almost sinking into the support beneath it. And the mind is calm, but present. So you can take these last 2 to 3 minutes to rest and recover here. I'll let you know when it's time to come out. With your next inhale, notice how the belly or the chest rises. And with your next exhale, notice how they fall. So that as you bring awareness to the movement of the breath, you allow yourself to come back into this current moment. So you can slowly start to wake yourself up. You might wiggle the toes, the fingers, you can circle the wrists. Maybe you rock the head side to side or stretch overhead. If you stayed in a seated position, take the time to stretch the legs out here and maybe reach overhead, so that whenever you feel ready, you'll make your way back into this comfortable seat in the center of your space, where you might close the eyes or gently gaze down at the nose and rest the hand somewhere along the legs. I encourage you to take a moment or two here to just observe how the body and the mind now feel at the end of your practice. And it can be as simple as different or same. You're always welcome to bring the palms together to touch, thumbs in front of the heart space. You might take this time to thank yourself for showing up to your mat, for dedicating this time to yourself and to your practice. But most of all, I would encourage you to thank your body for what it has allowed you to do today. When you're ready, you'll slowly start to blink the eyes open. Thank you. Thank you so much for letting me guide your practice today, and I look forward to the next one.